everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Before we get started, I wanted to tell you a little bit about what we are giving away during this program. Since we are doing New Year, New Meal Plan, I thought a weekly meal planning journal might be helpful for some of us trying to get on the right track. So if you want a chance at winning that, just leave a comment or post a question in the comment section. And if you do ask a question, I'll make sure that it gets related to Kelly and she'll give you the answer. So, without further ado, I'm happy to welcome Kelly today. She works in our local extension office as part of the nutrition education program. Thank you for joining us today, Kelly. Oh, I think you're still muted.
Yes, I was.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Thank you for having me. I'm going to share my screen. So today we are going to be talking about meal planning. And why I like this topic and why I chose to talk about this, usually in January, a lot of us have New Year's resolutions to start eating better. Some of us may just want to be a little bit more organized and things like that. And, you know, it doesn't seem like meal planning would be something in the getting organized area or category, but it really does help, especially if you're not only taking care of yourself, but you're taking care of others. Taking that meal planning chaos out of the equation of the rest of your organizing goals will help you feel a little less anxious about one more thing. And so we're going to talk about meal planning for everybody and how do you go about meal planning, and also a little bit about meal prepping. So when we plan our meals, by doing meal planning, you can help meet the needs of your family in ways like their energy and nutrients. You can add variety to your meals. You waste less foods by using the leftovers and the food that you already have on hand. Provide appealing and balanced meals. Save money at the grocery store. And create an inviting meal time for your family to share. So one easy way to start with our meal planning is to think about My Plate. My Plate starts you off exactly with what you need. It shows you all the food groups that you should be covering with your meal. So you have fruits, vegetables, grains, proteins, and dairy. And the major emphasis of My Plate is that half of your plate should be fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables are important for us because not only do they provide vitamins and nutrients and minerals that we need in our body, but it's also low in calories. It has great flavor, texture, and adds a lot of variety to meals. So usually, as you start planning your meals, the first thing that you want to do is determine what you already have on hand. So checking your pantry and your freezer and trying to create your meals based on what's there. You also want to determine how much leftovers you might already have or will have from a meal. Make a shopping list and stick to it. Be sure to check your recipes and make sure you have all ingredients on hand for those. And if not, then you'll want to put that on your shopping list. You'll want to save your menus and reuse them again in the future. And prepare make-ahead dishes to save time in the kitchen during those busy times. So including nutritious foods is of utmost importance when you plan meals, but there's other factors to consider too. Be sure that a meal presents a pleasing combination of colors. So you want to avoid having all one color on the plate. And for example, it would be something like fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and corn, because all of those colors are pretty much in the yellow or white family. Offer foods of different textures. So something like soft, firm, crunchy, chewy, to add interest to a meal. A variety of shapes and flavors also makes for an exciting meal. And you may want to think about serving meals at different temperatures, meaning some things on the dinner would be hot and maybe some things would be cold. Fruits and vegetables are great additions to help add variety for pleasing family meals. They also add fresh flavors, bright colors, different shapes, and textures. So you also want to keep in mind of limiting the number of mixed dishes served in a meal. Serve a casserole with a lettuce wedge instead of with a tossed salad. And when you serve a dessert, try to plan a light dessert for when you have a heavy meal. And when you have a rich dessert, you'll want to serve a light meal. You also want to serve a wide variety of foods. So avoid serving the same food twice in the same day. Remember not to repeat the same food in a meal. So for example, don't serve peas and carrots and a carrot and raisin salad in the same meal. And periodically, plan to include a new or different food or prepare maybe the same type of vegetable or fruit that you normally do, but maybe prepare it in a different way. Variety is the key in planning and preparing your meals. You also want to make sure to get your family involved by providing a nice table setting so you can enjoy meals together, even something as simple as picking up a tablecloth at maybe one of the thrift stores, having your kids make placemats, coloring on just plain old pieces of paper and decorating the table with placemats, maybe even create some ambiance and add some candles to the table. One other thing that you may want to do in your meal planning, I know that as a mom, you get really tired of trying to figure out what you're going to be fixing for dinner. And so why not get your family involved in that? So we encourage you when you're doing your meal planning to plan out meals for a week at a time. So if you could assign a day to each person in your household and let them pick what meal that we have that night. So when you're planning your meal plan, maybe you assign, your youngest son Tuesdays or maybe, and so they have to decide what you're going to have for dinner. You help them fill out your meal planning so that you have all 5 food groups covered. And then when it comes time to cook on Tuesday, invite that son into the kitchen so that they can help you prepare the food. If your kiddos have more input in what you have and what you fix for dinner, they're more likely to try new things or different dishes when it's not their night. So getting the family involved is a great way to get everybody on board. So another thing with meal planning to help make it easier is that every week you could have theme days just to help make it easier. For example, everyone loves Taco Tuesday. Who doesn't? So in my household, every Tuesday is Taco Tuesday. Now, do we have tacos every single Tuesday? No, because you would get burnt out on tacos. But what we do have is we have a little bit of a variety, but still keep that Mexican taco flavor or zest. So maybe one night we might have Taco Tuesday, and maybe the following Tuesday, maybe we'll have chicken enchiladas. Maybe we'll have a nacho bar where everybody gets to assemble their own nachos. Sometimes we even have taco baked potatoes. And so keeping that structure on Tuesdays, I know it's going to be Taco Tuesday. I already know that out of the 7 days in that week, there's one day that already is taken care of. Another day that we have, so we have 2 days in our house that are already assigned, Taco Tuesday, and we have Pizza Friday. So sometimes we order out and we get pizza, but sometimes we make our own pizzas, and that way everybody gets to make their own. Sometimes we make homemade calzones, we might make strombolis, or even just big homemade pizzas ourselves. And so out of 7 days, I have 2 already taken care of. And then there are 4 of us left in the household. So then that gives us other days to, each of us get to choose a day that we want to pick what we want on the menu. And then I usually try to save 1 day a week for leftovers, because you'll always have leftovers in the fridge. We call it yo-yo night. You're on your own. And then that way that everybody gets to eat whatever's left over and they get to pick what they have for dinner. So we always have a yo-yo night. And usually it's Wednesday nights of the week. All right, so also with meal planning, outline the meals that you would like for the week and use it as a guide. So you want to make sure you don't forget about your beverages and your snacks too. Snacks aren't necessarily important, but it does help some family members meet all of their food groups. Plan menus 1 week at a time, which I've already said, and your menus should be flexible enough to take advantage of anything that's on sale. So if maybe one night you planned on roast and you find that ground beef is on sale instead and it's cheaper than roast, maybe you wait until next week to have roast when maybe it will be on sale at the grocery store. Save your menus and reuse them. So what I like to do with my menus is I like to make notes on anything that maybe didn't work or did work for our family. So let's say we tried a new fruit. Maybe we tried mango one night for dinner as our dessert and mango didn't really go well. So I will make a little note, no mango, try something else or something like that. Same with when you're trying new recipes. Don't hesitate to make little notes on the recipe. Always adjust the recipe to what your family needs. Maybe you make some, like we have enchilada rice that has ground beef and rice in it and some black beans. So we like to add corn to it. So I made that note on the recipe to add some corn to that dish. So something like that is always good, and always adjust things for your family. If you have vegetables, dairy, and protein in one meal, you're going to want to make sure that you have that fruit and grain group covered in another meal or in a snack. And that way you get the benefit of all those 5 food groups. Snacks can help everybody meet additional needs. Again, the snacks and desserts aren't always necessary, but it does help but it is good if it helps you reach those 5 food groups. So also thinking about your protein, you want to make sure that you're varying your protein. We as Americans are very heavy poultry and beef. And so there's other sources of protein out there that are just as good for your family. Things like seafood, eggs, and beans are great choices to incorporate into your menu every week. And then you want to prepare enough of a dish to eat multiple times during the week. Making leftovers part of your plan can help you save time and money. Consider how you can recreate a dish from something you already prepared. So let's say you served maybe green beans or corn tonight for dinner. How can you incorporate that leftovers maybe tomorrow? So maybe you'll make a vegetable soup, or maybe you'll make a chicken pot pie or something like that with those leftovers. So you always want to, when you're preparing things, look at your menu and see if there's anything you can take to a next day, to another meal, and just repurpose it. If your other factors are trying to lose weight, you want to be mindful of that and look at your menu and make sure you're making some low calorie choices and low fat choices. And then once you take all these things into consideration, you'll want to look at your list of ingredients for all the meals you plan to make. So write all the ingredients down on the list, and then you're going to check your cupboards and your freezer and pantry and mark off what you already have on hand. And then whatever is left is what you need to get at the grocery store.
Hey, Kelly, I had a question for you.
Okay.
Yeah, one of our viewers on Facebook made the comment that, she only cooks for 2 and they don't eat leftovers very often. So because they don't have leftovers, they're only cooking for 2. Do you have any advice for people who cook like that on how to meal prep?
Yes, so if you are cooking just for 1 or 2 and you don't have any leftovers, that's awesome. So you would just have to make sure that you have all your meals planned out for all 7 days. Or if you're already making a recipe, you can easily double it. Or if you're only cooking for 1 or 2 people, a lot of times you're already halving a recipe anyway, just so that you don't have a lot of leftovers. So what I would suggest to you is, if you're already cooking a recipe, go ahead and cook that full-size recipe And then you could freeze that other half of whatever you're making so that next time you maybe would be in a hurry, or you can incorporate it in a meal next week or in a couple weeks or at the end of the month. And then that's one less day you'll have to plan for in the future because you already have that meal prepared in the freezer. So that would be an idea as well. We always encourage, if you can go ahead and prep extra, and if you have space, to go ahead and freeze it, because there are times that, well, number one, we don't want you to waste food, because anytime you throw away food, you're throwing away money, and we don't want that for you. And so, but it's always good just to have that extra on hand, just in case. All right, so for planning a meal, you always want to keep my plate in mind. And so this is how we teach meal prepping. So you want to begin with your protein. You want to try to select lean cuts of meat, poultry, fish, or some type of vegetable-based protein. Then from there, you want to choose your fruits and vegetables for the meal. Prepare those vegetables in healthy ways, like maybe a fresh salad or steaming or baking your vegetables. And then you want to add your grain. So we teach, and my plate teaches, that you make half of your grains whole grains. So with that, we suggest brown rice or brown pasta, whole wheat pasta, I'm sorry, or even a whole wheat roll with your meals. So adding your grain, and then you want to select a beverage. And so with beverage, as adults and teenagers up, we need at least 3 servings of dairy a day. And so your dairy is milk, yogurt, or cheese. And so having a glass of low-fat milk with your meal is a great way to get that dairy in. You can always have water. Water is a great choice, and we don't drink enough of it. Even if you make flavored waters and let them sit in your refrigerator so the flavors get to marry in that water, makes a really nice treat at dinner. And then the last thing is to finish with a healthy dessert. Fruit makes a great dessert to help those satisfy your sweet tooth. So that's a great way to get your fruit in. And most of us need 2 servings of fruit a day. And with vegetables, most of us need 2.5 servings of vegetables a day, which doesn't sound a lot, but if you're not a big fruit eater, two fruits a day may be difficult for you to get in. So having something as a dessert, even some strawberries with maybe some light whipped cream on top, great way to get that in, and you're getting a little bit of sweetness after your meal.
Hey, Kelly, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Is it possible to eat too much fruit to the point where you're getting an unhealthy amount of sugar?
I'm sure it's possible. My concern would be whether you, especially those with who are diabetic or maybe have hypoglycemia or something like that. You do want to watch how much you get. But the good thing about fruit is that the sugars in fruit, if you're eating a whole fresh fruit, not processed like applesauce or fruit cocktail or something like that. But if you're eating like fresh apples or strawberries, things like that, I would rather you overeat on that than ice cream or snack cakes or all the other Christmas goodies that we're all trying to get rid of right now. You can, I'm sure that if it's somebody with blood sugar issues, they would need to watch it, because it is still a sugar. It's a form of sugar, and it can still spike your blood sugar. So I would stick with 2. But if you still have a sweet craving, 2 more servings of fruit probably hurt you that day.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So with prepping meals, we have on how to make prepping your meals easier. So the first thing you want to do is read your recipe and check out what the cooking time and chilling times are for that recipe, because you want to try to have all your dishes ready at the same time. So if, for example, you have a casserole that takes 10 minutes to prepare and 45 minutes to bake, you're going to want to put that in the oven by 11:05 to have it ready, or I'm sorry, begin it at 11:05 to have it ready for your noontime meal. But with some practice, you can get all those meals together at the same time, or all the food ready at the same time for your meal. Keep your kitchen clean as you go. It will help you stay organized, and there'll be less mess for you at the end. And then always keep in mind your food safety. So when you're preparing your food, you want to make sure that your utensils are clean, your workspace is clean. You also want to make sure that any fresh fruit and vegetables, that you are washing them, and keeping in mind that you don't need any special produce rinse or any special, you're not using soap or bleach or anything like that on your vegetables. You just want to make sure you're rinsing them under cool, lukewarm water to get off any of the debris and anything that may be on it. So with that being said, what are some tips that you all might have that makes your meal prep easier? So let us know in the comments what some of those things are. For me, what I like to do, some of my tips, if I'm already baking chicken breast, I will go ahead and bake a couple extra pieces of chicken breast while I'm baking the rest for whatever meal I'm doing. That way, I already have a couple extra breasts on hand where I can make chicken salad for lunches. I can shred it up and put it on top of a tossed salad. I can shred it up and use it in other meals like chicken enchiladas or things like that. So not only do I have some extra on hand if I need it, but it also makes my meal prep and my meal time quicker when I go to bake those chicken enchiladas, because they don't have to bake as long because that chicken is already cooked. So that's one thing that I like to do. Another thing that I like to do is things that I know won't wilt or go bad, like celery, carrots, even some cucumbers. I will bring those home from the grocery and I will go ahead and wash them and cut them up and keep those in the refrigerator, just so that I always have them for snacks or any type of meal prep that I may need. They'll already be ready and set in the refrigerator.
Hey Kelly, we had somebody comment that they enjoy using their crock pot to prepare meals and meal plan.
Yes, crock pots, instant pots, even now, even air fryers are really great. But I love using my crock pot because there's nothing better than just doing some simple meal prep in the morning and getting that in the crock pot and letting it cook all day while you're going about your errands or work or whatnot, and coming home and that meal is already fixed. I totally agree with that comment. Crock pots are awesome.
We also had another person just comment that they use Pinterest because they can input the ingredients they have on hand and it gives them new recipes to make.
Yes. So let me speak on that for a moment. So when my kids, when I first had them start helping me with my meal planning and giving them an assigned day, that was what we did in the beginning, because my youngest at the beginning was 6. And you know, most of you all who are parents know that 6-year-olds really just like chicken nuggets and French fries. I mean, for real. So what we would do is I would sit down with him and ask him what did he want to eat, and of course he usually said chicken. Sometimes he would say hamburger or something like that. So I taught them how to get on Pinterest and search for meals. And so I had them sit next to me when they were too young to do that on their own, but I had them sit next to me and we searched things together. Pinterest is a great place to get new ideas for things that you may have around your house. Even when you are going on and meal planning, you know, just sitting down and making your calendar for the week, it's a great one to get on there, even just like Taco Tuesday. This is how it started. Was I got tired of tacos on Taco Tuesday. So I put in Taco Tuesday ideas, and it had different ideas with like the taco baked potatoes and stuff like that. And so I got to branch out and still make what my family enjoyed, but I just tweaked it a little bit. So yes, great suggestion. Pinterest is a great thing, resource to have.
Got a few more comments coming in
Awesome.
for you. One patron said that she uses rotisserie chicken for chicken recipes and frozen onion and green peppers to save time.
Yes, that's great. So you can chop up your onion and chop up your green pepper and just put them in a freezer bag and store them in the freezer. And that way, when a recipe says for half of an onion sauteed, all you do is take a handful out and throw and get to saute it. Yes, that's a great suggestion. And they sell them at the grocery store already, chopped and frozen. Usually at Kroger, I can get them for about 99 cents a bag. But if I'm already have bought an onion, and let's face it, most onions now are softball size when you buy them, unless you buy a whole bag of onions. Most recipes just call for half of a medium onion. So you still have that other half. Go on and just chop the whole thing and then freeze the other. So yes, that's a great suggestion, especially in the summertime when your gardens have a lot of green peppers and stuff. That's the time to rinse them off and chop them up and throw them in the freezer. Good suggestions.
All right, got two more for you. People
All
are
right.
really wanting to share with this one. That's great. Somebody suggested the Whisk app. Have you heard of that?
No, I have not.
In their comment, she says it's good for recipes and it gives you the list of ingredients and allows you to schedule meals for the week.
Fantastic. I'm going to have to look that up. Whisk app. I will have to look
Yes.
that up.
And another patron commented that they prepare vegetables for their salads in bulk so they can make, fresh each day.
Nice. Yes, and that's a great way to get your extra vitamins and minerals. And we're going to talk about that here in a second. But it's really important for us to eat fresh vegetables as much as we can. And so that is a great idea. I love that. All right. So we're going to move on and talk about our fruits and vegetables. So as I said before, most adults, and I say most because that's around 2,000 calories, which is what most food labels represent, but 2,000 calories and higher. So most adults need 2 servings of fruit and 2.5 servings of vegetables. So why are fruits and vegetables so important? Well, they give us several health benefits. They are low in calories, fat, and low in sodium, and they contain no cholesterol. They can also help prevent obesity, and they help with chronic diseases such as diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. Fruit and vegetables also contain fiber, sometimes called roughage, and that helps prevent constipation, but it helps us feel full. It protects against bowel disorders. It helps regulate blood sugar and reduce blood cholesterol. And then many vitamins and minerals that our body needs are found in fruits and vegetables. They're essential to our bodies, and they help our bodies perform hundreds of different roles that we're not even mindful of. So different fruits and vegetables provide different vitamins and minerals. That's why they're all different colors. So we always encourage you to eat the rainbow. And when you're making your selections for your meals, try to be mindful of all the different colors that are on the plate and try to have a rainbow represented on your plate. And that way you're sure to get all the vitamins and minerals that your body needs. So what I want you to think about tomorrow. And I want you to kind of just be mindful of what do you have already on hand that you could prepare as a meal tomorrow? Are there things that you have on hand that you could prepare without having to go to the grocery? And remember to try to think about the 5 food groups. So I just want you to think about it and think about what could be one dinner that you could do for you or your family. And just put that in the comments below. Thinking about what you already have on hand, what could you fix for dinner tomorrow? So while you're thinking about that, I do want to show you a couple of handouts. So I'm going to leave several handouts with Lisa here at the library. So if anyone would like them, they can come on down and grab them from her. If not, you can give me a call and I'll show you my information here in just a moment. But we have several handouts on meal planning. So this one, what I like about it has the days, no, I'm sorry, it has breakfast, lunch, and dinner and a snack at the top. And then it just has days of the week down the side. And so in these columns is where you would write what you would plan for those meals, and you'd have it for the whole entire week. Do you need this handout? No. You could do this with a plain old piece of notebook paper. So this is how we would meal plan. But what I like about this is on the back, It has all the different um, locations of the grocery store for you to write what you need at the grocery store. So you can make your shopping list on the back and your menu on the front. Another thing that I also have, speaking of one or two people, we have an awesome handout that's called Meal Planning for One or Two People. That is about 8 pages. But what I love, the back of the handout, like half of it, is just all different recipes. And the recipes are geared for one or two people. In the front of the handout is tips on how to cook for one or two people, because I will be honest, I'm a family of 5, but now my oldest daughter is out. And so there's only 4 of us, but I still cook. Well, I cook for an army. I'm not kidding. I always have leftover food. And one reason why I have leftover food is I always cook extra so that I have some for lunch the next day. Because I like to save money at lunch. It's getting expensive to eat out. So I always make sure I prepare enough for lunch. But my concern is, my kids are getting older and older. And so as they start leaving and going to college and whatnot, I don't want to continue to cook for 8 people, because that's what I've done for, 20 plus years. So this handout is really good for people like me who are big army cookers. That it shows you how to cook for just 1 or 2 people. So that information all these handouts will be here, Lisa, if you need them. Or if you need some more meal ideas on meal planning and prepping, you can go to choosemyplate.gov, and they have some great information on there. And that is the MyPlate website. You can also go to our UK nutrition education program page, and it's called planeatmove.com, and it has a lot of resources on there about meal planning and meal prepping as well. My information is down below this. Again, I'm Kelly Bland, and I'm over at the Cooperative Extension Office. We're located on the OCTC campus. If for some reason you can't get to the library, you're more than welcome to call me. And our number there is 685-, or you can email me, which is kelly.bland@uky.edu. And I will be more than happy to get this information to you, whether you come and pick it up at the Cooperative Extension Office, or I would even be happy to mail it to you as well. So that is all I had. Does anyone have any more questions? Or did anyone put below in the comments what they're going to be fixing for dinner tomorrow?
We did have one person respond that they are going to be cooking chili with all the yummy vegetables and all the other good stuff that adds all the flavor. So I can get on board with that.
Nice. Yes. Yeah. I love anytime I can have soups and chilies. I'm all for it. I love everything in one pot. I love one pot meals. So that sounds delicious.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Kelly, for coming today and sharing all this with us. Before we go, I did want to announce that Janice Green is the winner of our weekly meal planning notebook. So, Miss Janice, please come to the second floor information desk and I'll have it waiting for you. Thank you again, Kelly. It was really great to have you today. Great to be back in the groove of things, and I appreciate it so much.
Thank you all very much, and I appreciate everybody.
Have a great day, Kelly. Thank you.